All right, so make a quick little video talking about how to protect yourself from negative energies and how to identify negative energies and to transmute them into positivity, love, and light. So, the thing about this is that you have to be willing to let go of your own anger and own hatred and own negative feelings in order to be able to shield, or not even shield, but like in order to be able to have another negative thing not affect you. So it all kind of comes back to the self. So the more that you work on your own consciousness and your own self, the more that you will start to be able to build up these kinds of energies and be able to do this. So I'm just gonna kind of like stand back here, but basically, never mind. Basically, maybe I'll do it this way. There we go, that's a little better. Okay, so basically what I wanted to say is that negative energies, they come in a lot of different ways, right? So basically when you experience a thought form, it comes in the form of your own thoughts. So you have to become aware of your own thoughts. And then you have to also become aware of what thoughts are coming and flowing through you and which thoughts you resonate with and which ones you don't resonate with. And then also another really important thing is to understand the direction of where thoughts are coming from as well. So once you become aware of your thoughts, then you can start to show yourself where the direction of where those thoughts are by just looking around, and you start to observe your surroundings. So when you feel a thought form come in, you look around, you're like, okay, where's this coming from? A lot of the times, synchronicity will literally, like when you put that out in the universe that you want to understand where these are coming from, synchronicity will show you where these thought forms are being projected from. And it'll make it much easier for you to be able to kind of like direct your attention and recall your attention from these other negative thought forms. Secondly, you have to have experience with the negative thought forms, and you have to experience the opposite of that as well, meaning like you have to experience like the feeling of letting go of negative thought forms in order to be able to understand them. Right, so you have to have an experience of experiencing a thought form come in, like some sort of depression or anxiety or any of these kind of things, pain, all the stuff, negative thought forms or whatever. You experience that coming in, and then you also experience the power that you have and you hold in your own self to be able to move that energy and transmute it into something else. So what you do is that you can actually use the breath, and this is probably one of the easiest ways, is that you can breathe into different parts of your body. And I'm gonna make a whole different video on this, but see if I can get it to sit up. But when you breathe, I just push it down here, and then you pull it up, and you can pull it up to here. And you see what I mean? And then through that, you actually experience different states of consciousness. So what you do is you start to associate where the chakras and the energy centers and also what the feelings are that are associated with that. And then you breathe into that specific energy center, and you basically extend out that part of your body, because your body, mind, and spirit are all connected, right? So if you breathe into a specific part of your body, you'll heal that part. So if you experience, say, like anger, right? And you breathe into your lower stomach down here, like whoop, down there. You breathe down there. And you basically like extend out your stomach as if you're like getting fat, right? Or like you're trying to make yourself look like you're pregnant or fat. And you know, like people who they do that kind of thing. But you breathe air into that, and then you puff it out, and then you hold it like that, and you hold the air inside of you, and you hold that out for 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or something like that. And by the time that you're done doing that, you'll feel a shift in your consciousness if you did it correctly. And then if you're experiencing something more along the lines of anxiety or something like that, it's better to breathe in, breathe to the lower abdomen, and then move it up. So basically try to extend out your solar plexus and try to push it out, and hold that breath in there as well. That'll help a lot. And then if you're experiencing heartache or something like that, then puff the chest out, breathe into the chest. If you're experiencing a lack of being able to express yourself, flex the air, or breathe in to the lower abdomen, move it up into the chest, and then flex this area, and that'll pull the energy up into your throat chakra. Another thing that you can do is start to become aware of your general energy field and what you feel like as an entity, and as opposed to other people. And the only way to do this is to actually separate yourself from other people and to be alone for a little bit. It doesn't have to be for a terribly long time, maybe like a day or so, but you have to be able to separate yourself enough to where you can experience your own vibration without being influenced by other people. That's kind of important as well. Yeah, let me keep going. So negative thought forms are something that it's necessary. I mean, positive and negative are both polarities of the exact same thing. So when you experience a negative thought form, you are also experiencing a positive thought form as well. So you can transmute it by understanding that. What I mean by that is that it's all about the way that you perceive it and the way that you think about it. So when you experience this thing, if you change your perspective to where everything that you experience is of a positive nature, meaning like you start to change your belief systems to where even when you experience pain, what pain is doing is directing you to another part of yourself that you haven't looked at yet, and it's trying to show you these unhealed aspects of yourself via your physical body. Mental pain is trying to show you these unhealed aspects of yourself via your mental body. Spiritual pain is a little bit more rare, but spiritual pain is something that happens when there's a disconnection between the soul and the physical body and the mental body. And what happens there is that there's a really like strong dissonance between a person and their reality. Like they start to dissolve out of this reality mentally, and then they start to go what people will call crazy or something like that. But basically what happens is that they separate from themselves so much that they lose touch of reality altogether, and that would be like a spiritual pain. And that's something that would be healed through changing the diet and changing the exercise routine, and also changing the thought patterns and all this other stuff. It takes a lot of work to be able to heal that kind of stuff, but it kind of happens naturally as well, because it's such a profound shift. Like once you actually make the leap and you shift and you start to change the things in your life, then it's such a profound change in the way that you feel. There's no more forcing the self to do it. The self just wants to do it because it feels so much better for the self. And then also, it's important to be able to understand the difference between yourself and other people, but also the similarities between yourself and the other people. It's good to be able to have compassion and to see that when other people are suffering, they project their suffering onto you. And if you notice that and understand that, then you won't hold on to things, because what happens is a lot of times that people send thought forms and then they're replayed over and over in people's minds because they're playing off of the things that they already don't like about themselves. So if you understand and heal yourself, then you start to see compassion in everybody else and everything else. So what happens there is that you're able to kind of redirect your focus to seeing that these people are in pain and they're wounded, and the only reason that they're sending these thought forms at you is because they're in pain and they're wounded, and they don't know how to experience joy and happiness for their own selves. And I know it's kind of sad sounding, but at the same time, it's a really easy way for you to be able to see compassion in the moment and to not get caught up in the kind of storylines that they're sending to you. But this is just specifically for thought forms. There's also other forms of kind of like things that you can go through, but I think that mostly what I'm trying to get to is that that you can, once you kind of sit in your vibration, you can kind of direct your focus and your vibration back to yourself over and over and over again. And the best way to do that is through the breath. So you direct yourself to the breath, and then next thing you know, that you're disconnected from everything else. But then also you have to realize that when you do that, you're not trying to go into the ego self, you're trying to go into the self that sits behind the self, which is basically like you redirect yourself into the breath, because the breath is not connected to any kind of thoughts or anything like that. and it's not connected to any kinds of feelings or emotions or any of that kind of stuff. So you do that in order to be able to disconnect yourself from everything else and all the storylines that are getting thrown at you. You also have to be willing to let go of who you've been grown up and like who you have taken on as your ego personality. You got to let that go, and you have to be able to allow yourself to sit in a space of happiness without feeling bad about it, or like without feeling like you're lying to yourself or something like that. You have to truly and genuinely allow yourself to be happy, and that's also really important. Yeah, I mean, that feels like kind of short, but honestly, like, I think this is where I'm gonna go with it. So hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I'm gonna make another one about crystals in a little bit. So see you later.